Cyber attacks are on the rise, with hackers constantly seeking vulnerabilities to exploit, whether it's personal information, financial data, or critical infrastructure. No one is immune to the threats of the digital age. That's where cybersecurity comes in. Grace IT Solutions can help you develop a career in cybersecurity and in six figures without necessarily having any technical background. Join us as we journey through this path together on our YouTube channel, Grace IT Solutions. For more information, contact +1571 365 1251.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Eric Obin from Grace IT Solutions. If today is your first time on this channel, please do well to subscribe to our channel so that you'll be notified anytime we post any video. Now, let's get into it. For some time now, we'll be looking at how to pass the Cgrc exams. And we said that in order to pass these exams, you must as well know the 7 RMF steps. So in our previous videos, we looked at the preparation step, the categorization step, the select step, the implement step, and we are now on the assessment or the assess step. We also spoke about the fact that the assessment step has 6 tags. 6 tags. And you see, one other thing that we need to bear in mind is that the assessment step, the authorization step, and the continuous monitoring step are heavily tested in the Cgrc exams. Therefore, we've taken ample time to take each of these tags slowly so that we'll grab the concept and pass and pass and pass well. So we previously looked at the assessor selection, the assessment plan, the control assessment, and today we want to look at the assessment report. So I will encourage you to go back and probably look at the other videos so that you can catch up and be on the same page with us. So let's get into it. Now, as usual, let's look at the purpose of the assess step. The purpose of the assess step. The purpose of the assess step is to determine if the controls selected for implementation are implemented correctly, operating as intended, and producing the desired outcome with respect to meeting the security and privacy requirements for the system and the organization. Now, let's look at the publication. So the publications here is going to be the 837 revision 2 and 53A revision 5. The A stands for assessment. So when you get into the exams room, don't forget, when you see 53A, that should give you the clue that we're talking about the assessment. And we also want to look at the SDLC. The LCDLC is the development, acquisition, or the implementation or the assessment according to the NIST SP 837 revision 2. Please bear in mind with this publication. Is very important. Now, let's get into it. Now, we're looking at the assessment reports. What is security and privacy assessment reports? You may ask. It is a documentation of the results of security and privacy control assessment, including information based on assessors' findings and recommendation for correcting deficiencies in the implemented controls. So if you look at what I have on my screen, you realize that I have certain keywords underlined, or if you may put phrase underlined. So we said it's a documentation of results, documentation of results. Two, we also said it is the assessor's findings and recommendation. So if you want to look at what assessment report is simply put in this way. Assessment report is simply findings plus recommendation. So if you are very good in math and you want to put this in equation form, then you can say that SAR is equal to findings plus recommendations. So Security and privacy report is equal to findings and recommendation. That is the totality of the report. Now, bear in mind that when you talk about findings, findings includes the controls that have passed and those that have failed. So when the control assessor goes out to do the assessment, the assessor documents every findings pertaining to the assessment done in the controls. So when you do the assessment and there's controls that pass, you have to document. If there are controls that failed, you have to document. So you have to put everything together. So SAR is simply equal to findings plus recommendation. Don't forget about this. Findings plus recommendation. Now let's continue. It also provides the findings and the result of assessing the implementation of the controls identified in the security system to determine the extent to which the controls are implemented correctly, operating as intended, and producing the desired outcome with respect to meeting security and privacy requirements. Remember, we said in our previous videos that the essence of the control implementation is to protect the system that is being developed from hackers. So therefore, after the controls have been selected, we have to implement it. Now, after the implementation, we have to make sure that the controls that have been implemented are functioning as it's supposed to be and also implemented correctly. Let's give an example. Let's say you are at home and you need to secure your building. So what do? You go to any shop and you buy some locks. So that locks that you implement is a control. It's a physical control. So you come and you implement the locks. Now, you have to make sure that whilst you are implementing the locks, you have to follow the manual or the guidance as written when you bought the lock to make sure that you implemented it correctly. Then after you are done, you have to make sure that the key, you turn the key in and out to make sure that the door locks or does not lock. So if your door does not lock, then it means either the key that you have is not the correct key or you did not install your lock very well. Similar to what we are discussing here. When you implement the controls, you have to make sure that it is working as intended, you implemented it correctly, and you are getting the results out of it. If it doesn't match the results as described in the SSP, now the assessor has to fail the control. Now, let's continue. The security and privacy assessment report are included in the system authorization package, along with the security and privacy plan of action and milestone, and an executive summary to provide authorizing officials with the information necessary to make risk-based decisions on whether to authorize a system to begin operating or continue its operation. So all that we are trying to say is that now this is going to be looked at more extensively in the authorized step, but it is part of it, so we have to look at it. Just a summary. All that we are trying to say is that the security and privacy assessment report is very, very important. It is a vital document given out to the authorizing official to either accept the system to operate or to deny it. Therefore, it is a document that you don't want to play with. It has a lot to do. So now, in summary, on that point, all that we are saying is that a system authorization package for the authorizing official to accept risks for the system, there are certain documents which needs to be included, put together as the authorization package. And one of them is the security and privacy assessment report. So just look at it. As I said, we'll look at it more extensively when we get to the authorizing step, but let's look at it. Now, the items that is needed is the security and privacy plan, the security and privacy assessment report, executive summary report, plan of action and milestone, and other supportive documents upon request by the authorizing official. This is very, very important so far as your exam is concerned, or when you're even going for interview to secure a job. So we're looking at 4 things here, 4 main things: security and privacy plan, security and privacy assessment report, plan of action and milestone, executive summary report, and other supportive documents upon request by the authorizing official. And those documents are over there. Please pay attention to this slide. It's very, very important. Now, let's move on. Now, what must be included in the report? You need to have the system name, the security categorization, site assessed and assessment date, assessor's name and identification. You have to put your name down. Previous assessment results, if any. Why? Because it gives us an idea of what the whole security controls is about so far as the system is concerned. It gives you an idea of what has already passed and what is already in the system. Security and privacy control or control enhancement designator, selected assessment methods and objects, depth and coverage attribute values, assessment finding summary indicating satisfied or other than satisfied. So satisfied means it has passed. Other than satisfied means it has failed. Then again, we said that the control assessor must be somebody who is independent and must be technically good. In other words, if the control has failed, it has failed. Now we look at the assessor comment. You have to give your recommendation why it failed. You have to state all these things in the reports. So you look at the weakness. You have to let us know. Let's say if you went out to do a vulnerability scan, then after you did the scan, you realize that some of the controls failed. You have to let us know the name of the control that failed. You have to let us know, why it failed. Then your recommendation, what you think needs to be done in order to fix this. So all these things put together goes into the assessment report. So in summary, all that we are saying is that the security and privacy assessment report provides a disciplined and structured approach for documenting and the findings of the assessor and the recommendations for correcting any weakness or deficiencies in the security and privacy control. So don't forget, SAR is equal to findings plus recommendations. Findings plus recommendation. And we said that the findings are the controls that had passed and those that had failed. So all those put together is documented in the report. Also, the assessment report is an ongoing task. Assessment report is an ongoing task that needs to be updated so far as the system is concerned. What we are trying to say is that when it comes to control assessment, it is not a one-time thing. It is a continuous activity that even continues in the continuous monitoring step. So which means that every now and then the controls need to be assessed from time to time, and it's part of the continuous monitoring. And because this is an ongoing issue, the assessment report as well must be updated whenever there is any changes. That's what it means. So whenever there is any changes, let's say that you are done with all whatever needs to be done so far as the system is concerned. You submitted all the necessary documents to the authorizing official, and the system had passed, or we'll say that the authorizing official had accepted risks. It doesn't end there. From time to time, as part of the authorizing requirement, the controls would have to be assessed from time to time. So in the course of the assessment, whenever there is any changes, you have to document in the assessment report. So which implies that the continuous assessment report, sorry, I take it back, which means that the assessment report is updated as when needed, so far as the controls are concerned. So I want to end today. This was really quick. And the reason is that we want to take each of the tasks step by step so that we can have a better understanding of the whole assessment task. Again, my name is Eric Obeng. See you again in our next video. And kindly again subscribe to our channel and help us grow. Bye for now.
Cyber attacks are on the rise, with hackers constantly seeking vulnerabilities to exploit, whether it's personal information, financial data, or critical infrastructure. No one is immune to the threats of the digital age. That's where cybersecurity comes in. Grace Self IT Solutions can help you develop a career in cybersecurity, earning six figures without necessarily having any technical background. Join us as we journey through this path together on our YouTube channel, Grace Self IT Solutions. For more information, contact +1571 365 1251.